Who do you think is going to win between Alex and Gane?
Ooh, let the better win. But I believe Alex can do that. When I saw him, like, his weight is going up. He's strong enough to, and in a stand-up, I believe he will be better. But Gane is a lot of movement.
Who do you want to fight next after this one?
Let's be focused for the next week. That's the problem of many fighters, when they think too much earlier.
But who is the contender, the next contender? Not alive?
I really don't care.
You have a very soothing voice.
Thank you, thanks.
He moves a lot, he's fast and this, and I think Alex Pereira will be like more stiff, stable and strong, solid. Cyril will be more fast, moving around, as is his technique. He's good at that. And then it's going to be very difficult to Alex Pereira to even get close to the distance to figure out what he can do, like just to get in the distance, you know, to get close to that, to close that distance, which Cyril will be managing very good to keep the distance, pick apart, get him frustrated. He's good at that. So I think he's a very good matchup for Cyril.
And Volkov has good technical ability on the feet, and he beat Cyril Gane in their last fight and did very well on the feet against him as well. So when he finds someone who can really cut off the cage like Pereira and really punish him, Gane hasn't got the first round finish ability that Aspinall does to make him a threat to a guy like Alex Pereira. He also doesn't really have the offensive wrestling game to make him a threat to a guy like Alex Pereira either. He could get it done. He has good backwards movement. He floats around well on the back foot. He does it better than Jamal Hill, if we're being honest. Gane is one of the rare heavyweights that actually really does have a good technical base for the heavyweight division. He just lacks that KO power and lacks that ability to just nuke someone in the first 2 minutes. He's never really been able to do it throughout his entire career. And I would, off the top of my head, I can't think of a time that Gane has got a first 2 minute of the fight finish like a guy like Aspinall or Ngannou has. But Pereira should win this one, I think.
I mean, who else is going to fight though? The division's on its ass. So there's not many big fights to make, is there? So got to do what they got to do. Cyril Gane, Alex Pereira. Obviously, I'm going to fight the winner of that. So just waiting now to be given the green light, the all clear from the doctors to start training properly again. As soon as we can start training properly again, full contact in the gym, we will be getting a fight date booked to fight the winner. So just waiting for the clearance to be medically cleared now, and then we go. We'll be looking to book a fight as soon as possible.
Heavyweights, but Cyril Gane, in his DNA, is a gigantic, bona fide, legit heavyweight that just so happens to be very, very light on the feet, incredibly fast, can move around, you know, all over the place, shaking and baking, jigging and jiving, moving and grooving, whatever else you want to say, right? Yeah. I think that's a big advantage in this fight here.
Yeah, that's the thing. He kicks so well too. He's not just a guy that's going to be some lumbering heavyweight. I think there's a lot of heavyweights on the roster that Pereira would hands down easily just go out there and KO to death, no problem. This one is a challenge, and I think that's what entices him, whether it was going to be Jones or whether it's going to be Cyril Gane. You're going for that third belt. If he gets it.
The Pereira versus Gane matchup is now official, and the MMA community remains genuinely split on the outcome. Some believe Pereira will methodically stalk forward with his signature composure, systematically cutting off escape routes until he connects with a devastating finishing blow. Others are convinced that Gane's superior mobility, precise footwork, and masterful distance control will create an uncomfortable puzzle that forces the entire bout into a rhythm that completely neutralizes Pereira's strengths. No consensus exists among fans and experts, which creates the perfect storm for compelling analysis, since we're witnessing a legitimate collision between contrasting philosophies and approaches where neither game plan holds an obvious advantage heading into fight night.
I don't think he gets past Cyril Gane. I think that weight is real. Could he 100%, in particular in that division. But nobody has really finished Cyril Gane, and his movements is very problematic. Pereira also does get hit tomorrow. Now, can you take a heavyweight's punch? Now you're talking about Francis Ngannou power? A real big heavyweight?
You are right, Henry. Cyril Gane is no slouch. When he was fighting Tom Aspinall, we saw how that fight was starting to look. But listen, I think this is a fantastic fight. I'm not counting anyone out here. I'm not counting Alex Pereira out here, because Alex Pereira does have the power to really change things. We felt this way when Alex Pereira said he wanted to go to light heavyweight. Now he dominated that weight class.
Francis Ngannou views Pereira as the more imposing physical presence with superior strength and stability during exchanges, yet acknowledges that Gane operates like someone competing 2 divisions lighter with constant movement and mobility. The critical factor, according to Francis, centers on distance management, since Pereira must close the gap to unleash his fight-ending power, while Gane excels at maintaining spatial control and forcing opponents to chase him across the octagon. This dynamic creates frustration for power punchers who cannot properly plant their feet or generate full force behind their strikes when constantly pursuing an elusive target.
It's gonna be an interesting fight though. I think Alex Pereira is very tough. He's big enough. He's a heavyweight. But in this scenario, the position shifted a little bit because Ciryl Gane here come more with a strategy of a lighter person because he moves a lot, he's fast and this. And I think Alex Pereira will be like more stiff, stable and strong, solid. Ciryl will be more fast, moving around, as is his technique. He's good at that. And then it's going to be very difficult to Alex Pereira to even get close to the distance to figure out what he can do, like just to get in the distance, you know, to get close to that, to close that distance, which Ciryl will be managing very good to keep the distance, pick apart, get him frustrated. He's good at that. So I think he's a very good matchup for Ciryl.
Francis strongly disputes the narrative that Gane lacks depth beyond striking, emphasizing his serious commitment to developing ground skills over recent years with measurable improvement that surpasses public perception. He recalls Gane attempting submissions during their own encounter, demonstrating comfort on the mat rather than panic, and notes continued evolution after facing elite competition that exposed areas requiring refinement. Francis believes dismissing Gane as merely a kickboxer represents a dangerous miscalculation that could prove costly if Pereira enters without preparing for a complete mixed martial artist.
Well, we will not undermine the fact that Ciryl also is doing it. He's training. He's been very serious on his ground game. He's been evolving. He's been improving. Like, by the way, even in our fight 4 years ago, I was impressed that he was trying the heel locks, you know, stuff like that. I know that was something that he could have come up with, but I was so impressed at time. And since then, I think also after the John fight, he went to Dagestan on this wrestling stuff. I think it's a very complete MMA fighter. I think you will be mistaken to just see him as a striker, as this. The fact that he's just such a good striker make people underestimate his ground game and oversee his ground game, you know.
MMA Guru argues that Pereira's pressure represents a fundamentally different challenge than anything Gane has previously encountered throughout his career. This isn't simply about moving forward aggressively, but rather Pereira's methodical stalking approach that patiently eliminates escape routes while controlling fight positioning and pacing. Gane typically relies on staying light on his back foot, circling away from danger and resetting constantly, which worked against technical fighters like Alexander Volkanovski, but Pereira possesses far greater one-shot knockout power and won't allow endless resets without consequences. Guru emphasizes that Gane lacks the early finishing threat needed to keep dangerous opponents respectful, and without wrestling ability to neutralize striking exchanges, he faces the prospect of standing and trading under constant pressure for 5 complete rounds.
Amazing. I'm leaning towards Alex Pereira here to get it done against Ciryl Gane. I think he's going to be too much on the front foot, track the cage. I don't think Ciryl Gane's going to be used to a guy with the skill level of Alex Pereira. He's never fought someone with that ability in his life. And Volkov has good technical ability on the feet, and he beat Ciryl Gane in their last fight and did very well on the feet against him as well. So when he finds someone who can really cut off the cage like Pereira and really punish him, Gane hasn't got the first round finish ability that Aspinall does to make him a threat to a guy like Alex Pereira. He also doesn't really have the offensive wrestling game to make him a threat to a guy like Alex Pereira either. He could get it done. He has good backwards movement. He floats around well on the back foot. He does it better than Jamal Hill. If we're being honest, Gane is one of the rare heavyweights that actually really does have a good technical base for the heavyweight division. He just lacks that KO power and lacks that ability to just nuke someone in the first 2 minutes. He's never really been able to do it throughout his entire career. And I would, off the top of my head, I can't think of a time that Gane's got a first 2 minute of the fight finished like a guy like Aspinall and Gane who has. But Pereira should...
Michael Bisping considers this matchup more intriguing than the widely demanded Jon Jones super fight, because Jones would likely implement wrestling-heavy tactics that eliminate striking exchanges where Pereira thrives most effectively. Against Gane, the action remains primarily on the feet, providing genuine opportunities for Pereira to showcase his knockout power and implement his preferred game plan. Bisping views this stylistic dynamic as creating more entertaining possibilities for fans who want to see Pereira's striking skills tested rather than neutralized through grappling.
Ciryl Gane, Alex Pereira, interim heavyweight title. Right? I thought it was going to be Jones and Ciryl. It's not. Okay. Yeah. I still think it's a tremendous fight. I think in some ways it's a better fight. We said this on the post-fight show. I said it on the YouTube video, and people were like, oh yeah, you would say that, company man. No, listen, Jones, it would be a spectacle, and it would be great to see Pereira versus Jones. Of course it would. But in terms of, you all just shit, and everyone's been shitting on Charles Oliveira taking down Max Holloway. Do you not think Jon Jones would take down Alex Pereira? Of course, that would be the strategy. I'm not saying Pereira can't stop a takedown, but that's what he's going to try and do, because on the feet, Pereira could very well knock him out. Well, Ciryl Gane and Alex Pereira, they're going to put on one.
However, Bisping heavily emphasizes the size and movement differential as a significant challenge for Pereira's championship aspirations. While acknowledging Pereira's knockout power should translate upward, he stresses that Gane represents a natural heavyweight with career-long comfort at this weight class, combining excellent footwork with speed that's exceptional for the division. Moving up in weight potentially costs Pereira some agility and quickness, while facing an opponent already optimized for heavyweight competition with years of experience against elite division talent.
Point. You know, we have weight classes for a reason. There's also a reason why no one's become a 3-weight division champion.
Yeah, it's
he
so
could
hard.
make 185 by almost killing himself. Now he's going up to heavy, where it's not. I mean, naturally he walks around as a heavyweight, but he's not naturally a heavyweight fighter. So
Yeah.
what will happen? He'll be heavier, which will slow you down a bit. He will have, I think, extra power. I still think he can take the shots. I think he's still got the power to knock out heavyweights. But Ciryl Gane, in his DNA, is a gigantic, bona fide, legit heavyweight that just so happens to be very, very light on the feet, incredibly fast, can move around, you know, all over the place, shaking and baking, jigging and jiving, moving and grooving, whatever else you want to say, right? I think that's a big advantage in this fight.
Paul Felder sees genuine competitiveness in this matchup because it eliminates the wrestling variables that would plague a Jones encounter, allowing both fighters to operate in their preferred striking realm. Against a wrestler, Pereira would spend significant time defending takedowns and working from disadvantageous ground positions that completely negate his primary weapons, but Gane's approach keeps the fight standing, where Pereira can hunt for openings and implement his proven strategies effectively.
Yeah, no, I think you're right with that it's definitely going to be a much more competitive, much more exciting affair. Whereas even if Pereira had success against Jon Jones, you're right, a lot of that time would be spent at some point defending some sort of takedown, or not defending the takedowns and getting taken down, waiting for his opportunity in the next round to be able to strike. This is going to be a big boys kickboxing in there. We saw how good Ciryl Gane looked when he was fighting Tom Aspinall before the eye pokes. He was landing good shots. He's athletic. He can move. These are two heavyweights that can move and can strike. It's going to be a banging ass fight.
Felder maintains realistic expectations about the heavyweight transition, acknowledging it represents a serious step up in competition, where even durable light heavyweights can suffer damage from single shots. Gane possesses extensive experience, absorbing power from elite heavyweight hitters like Francis Ngannou, making him comfortable with this level of force, which creates a more balanced contest than Pereira's highlight reel might suggest to casual observers.
Get it. This one's surprising. Ciryl Gane, minus 160. It's only a slight underdog, favorite, but still a favorite. Alex Pereira, plus 140. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's kind of accurate. And I think that's a lot of it is we're basing the fact that he's moving up to heavyweight, Pereira, he really started off as a middleweight. Now, granted, he's a much bigger man now, and I don't think there's any world in which he could go back down to 185 pounds. But still, you're going from I was able to make middleweight to now I'm fighting at heavyweight, where these men are huge. And again, Ciryl Gane is used to the threat of nasty power coming his way.
Oscar Willis initially questioned the main event positioning, but found the co-main placement more appropriate for both fighters' current career stages and the overall event structure. This positioning adds significant star power and excitement, without creating unrealistic pressure to carry an entire pay-per-view as the featured attraction, allowing the fight to enhance the card rather than define it completely.
I heard this fight was, so on Friday I was told this fight was the main event, Ciryl and Alex, and I thought that was honestly a disaster for the White House. I did not like that as a main event for it at all.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like it wasn't on the card at all. And then it was suddenly the co-main, and I was surprised by it. And I thought that was a fantastic addition. Like, having it as the co-main, I think makes the card. To be honest, it's like the extra fight. I saw Ariel Helwani today. Like, to have Ilia Topuria and Alex Pereira on the same card is actually a massive deal in today.
Willis recognizes the massive legacy implications if Pereira secures a knockout victory, noting that successful heavyweight transitions with finishing performances are rare achievements that would elevate his standing throughout combat sports. However, he acknowledges the risk that Gane's size and technical approach could neutralize Pereira's explosive moments, potentially creating a decision-based point fighting contest that fails to deliver the fireworks fans expect. The size and speed combination presents early round challenges where Gane moves like a smaller athlete while maintaining heavyweight dimensions and reach advantages, forcing Pereira to solve timing and distance puzzles while his usual techniques face different defensive looks. Many analysts doubt Gane's ability to maintain control across 5 full rounds, predicting Pereira might surrender early rounds before making late fight adjustments that culminate in devastating finishing sequences. This represents a fascinating stylistic collision where Pereira's proven knockout power and adaptability face Gane's exceptional mobility and tactical patience, creating genuine uncertainty about whether power or technique will ultimately prevail when the cage door closes.